On behalf of Srinivasan, welcome to PR Srinivasan. Now I would be request to director sir to felicitate.
Thanks for inviting me to talk to you guys. I don't think I will talk like this right from mine. Everybody calls me PRS. PR Srinivasan is the name. We are very rich South Indian tradition where everybody in South India are known with their initials. NPR, LGR, and so on. So this is PRS. I want to say something?
She's South Indian.
I'm basically an engineer by training. I did my engineering in mechanical engineering. Then 4 years I worked for Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in Nashik, which is a MiG-27 manufacturing unit, fighter bombers. So 4 years I was there. And of course they wouldn't let us fly the planes. They wouldn't let us sit in the planes. And I got bored of it and I went to business school. Did my MBA and then I joined the ICICI. ICICI has a unit called ICICI Ventures, if you have heard of it. I started my career there. ICICI is a nice place to learn finance. ICICI is like a university for most finance professionals you will find in Mumbai. And of course the other half would be Siddhi. And I finished my career in Siddhi. So I started with ICICI, I worked for HSBC, and then I worked for Siddhi. And sometime in 2010, I quit Siddhi, and I, along with my partners, set up Exponential Capital, which is a private equity fund manager. Anyway, so I want to talk about perhaps a little bit about my career and a little bit about what private equity and venture capital is. I think the most important thing which I learned in my career is that whether I consciously did it or not, I took some risks. How many of you are from a small town? Not just small town. I mean, I'm talking about less than 100,000 people. Are any of you from a small town? No? Okay, I was raised in a small town, or our town. 47,000 is the population now. 25 years ago, the population would have been even less. It's a very small town. And when I was studying till first standard, I never heard of IITs and IIMs. So I did not go to IIT because I didn't know IIT existed. I went and joined College of Engineering in Anna University. It's a big college, one of the best in Tamil Nadu. But and when I studied in the college also, I didn't know enough to say that I'm going to go to business school. I thought engineering was the end of my studies. I thought it was enough. I had classmates from Mumbai and Delhi who studied with me when I was there, who all were trying to get into IIMs. I still didn't understand what business school was and why I should do that. So I finished my engineering and I took a job. Hindustan Aeronautics is a nice big public sector company. So, fortunately, I was very lucky. I wanted them to post me to Bangalore. HAL is very large in Bangalore. HAL probably has 9 factories throughout the country. 5 of them are in Bangalore. In Bangalore, they make something called Jaguar aircraft. And unfortunately for me, they posted me to Nashik. I didn't want to come to Nashik. I was the typical Tamil Nadu from the belt. I never lived outside Tamil Nadu. I lived my life in Tamil Nadu, studied in Madras, and I had no intention of leaving Tamil Nadu to go and work in Bombay or anything like that. I landed here because I took a job at HAL in the Union posting in Bangalore, and they posted me in Hyderabad. And Hyderabad was an avionics business. In an aircraft, you have electronics in the aircraft, that's called avionics. And then you have mechanical engineer who make the engine and airframe. So they put me in this avionics factory. I am a mechanical engineer. So my job was the design unit. So you make the housing in which you put the electronics. I was a double design engineer. And my classmates made fun of me. The avionics guys, they did very fancy things. They have, I don't know if you guys know avionics, but there is something called identify friend or foe. Basically, when the aircraft is flying at back speeds, they don't have time to figure out whether the next aircraft side by side is the Indian Air Force aircraft or a Pakistani Air Force aircraft. There is electronics in both the aircraft which will help identify that this is a friend. So you got to shoot your own friend. Okay? And if the aircraft is not giving the identified friend signal, then you know it's an enemy aircraft. Okay? So this is the stuff which this is the kind of stuff you have to do in electronics. So you do identify friend of home, you have something called weather radar, you have of course the avionics which controls the ailerons and the wings, etc., etc. So all fancy stuff. So my electronics engineering batchmates, they did fancy stuff. And I was in Kabad and I asked for a transfer. They of course wouldn't give me Bangalore, they posted me to Nashik. Nashik was the airframe factory where we made the frame. The engine was made in Korapur. But the engine was bought from Korapur to Nashik, then they accepted that and we flew the plane. And who was the test pilot? I don't know how many of you heard of Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma. They doesn't ring a bell? Only Indian astronaut. The only person from India who never gone to space. So he was a test pilot. He used to fly the aircraft and check and then we hand over to the Indian Air Force. Of course, I was quite disappointed at the whole state of affairs. But I was taken, the frog was taken out of the well and put in Nashik. I started learning to speak Hindi. One of my classmates from engineering got posted to Kanpur. And he was motivated to write CAP and he cleared. And I was inspired. He can clear, I can also clear. So I went and wrote. So you can imagine a small town boy, normal job, I'm resigning and I'm going to study again. So what happened with the family? The family was all freaked out. Okay? They said, this guy is nuts. गवर्नमेंट नौकरी छोड़ के जा रहा है, क्या करने वाला पता नहीं, जिंदगी को लाभ तक my father is a chemistry prof. He thought the same thing as doing BCom. He said there are so many BCom fellows who don't have jobs, and you go to MBA, what the hell is doing? Whatever the first risk, I took the risk of leaving a job and went to business school. In business school, I had 2 job offers when I passed out. One was with IIM. You must have heard of IIM, they make tractors and then IIM, it's pronounced IIM. They make tractors, they make trucks, NCVs, and the interviewer said that he will give me a rank in the system as if I joined this in financial engineering. Okay, so 4 years experience plus MBA, where they will put me in a business at top. So I got a manager position, a deputy manager, something like that. And then I got a job with ICC, just half the salary. So I went and talked to my prof. My prof was somebody called Prasna Chandra. Again, I don't know if the name means anything. Prasna Chandra is financial accounting and financial management. They did a lot of groups by Prasna Chandra. I don't know if your group is Prasna Chandra or something else. But Prasna Chandra told me that venture capital is the future. So to join ICS. joined, we had a 100 crore fund. And the first transaction I did was for 20 lakhs. We purchased 20% of a company called Microland. So 1 crore was value, 20 lakhs I paid, I bought 20% of the company. That was the first transaction. So that was again a risk in the sense that I choose how to jumping off. So I took a risk of joining a new sector. And 3 years I stayed in ICICI, I learned financials, I learned investing. We were lucky, we got to invest in Infosys Technologies and it made the IPO. And then we invested in a company called Geometric Software. These are big names in the stock market. Many of you are stock market followers and you know these names. So we invested in those companies in those 3 years. And then these HLBC guys came along. There was not enough talent in India who knew venture capital private equity in 1995. So they imported 2 Britishers from London. And I was the Namke was the Indian employee. So 3 of us were given this mandate to set up an India fund for HSBC. And HSBC basically said, we will give $8 million. If you raise 22, so 30 you should have. 3 of you are there, $10 million each you should manage. So if you raise $30 million in 12 months, you are in business. 13th month, you will get a pink slip, you will send you off. You will lose your job. What is this? Again, another risk I took. We raised $60 million in 1996. Just 1 month before the 12-month period expired. And we invested that $60 million in India. In the late 90s. I don't know, late 90s, probably you guys were all too young to know about those days. But those were horrible economic things. Interest rates are 21 to 22% if you want to borrow. Lot of manufacturing business was suffering. We invested in those days. The fund did not make money. Just about invested 50 million, brought back 50 million. Without losing money, we gave money back to our investors who were happy to get their money back. So that risk actually did not pay off. In the sense that, again, 6 years down the line, it didn't look like we don't do another fund. Actually, we said no more money for a second fund. Then I joined Citibank. But by the time I joined Citibank, 10 years, they say in medicine, kill 1,000 guys, you know, become a doctor. So in that 10 years, I done enough good deals and bad deals, lost money. I was much wiser. And Citibank thought that this guy wants to grow up again. So they gave me a job. And 2002 to 2010, I was in Citibank. Invested about $700 million when I worked with them. Sold and gave them back $1.5 million. And when I left, there was still $700 million worth of investments. So $700 million became 3 times, $2.1 million. So that is how the career progressed. So in 2010, I took the risk again. I said, if I can make this much money, why am I doing this for Citibank? Let me do it myself. So I left, along with my partners who were working with me in Citibank. And I set up Exponential. And the last 2 years have not been good. Okay, it looks like I took a bad risk again. Okay? But the thing which I want to sort of tell you is that if I hadn't taken those risks, I would be maybe a chief manager in HAL. I mean, 30% a month. Okay. secure public sector job, etc., etc. Today I am rich. Yeah, I am not poor. I am not middle class. I am rich. And that happened because I took risks. Okay? Mind you, risk doesn't mean that all the risk will turn positive. Sometimes it will go wrong. Okay? But if I didn't take those risks, if I had stayed in HAL, if I stayed in DDICI, ICICI Ventures, okay, if I hadn't ventured out to HSBC or Siddhi, and then each investment you make, final deal I did in Siddhi was for $200 million. One deal. 825 crores. First deal was how much? 20 lakhs. Remember, first deal was 20 lakhs. Last transaction I did was $200 million. 825 crores. Okay, the economy has changed so much. When I left, I got a 6,000 rupees per month salary from ICICI. Okay, in 1992. Got 84,000 rupees a year. Okay, so it's completely different world. And as the thing has changed, I have climbed up because I took risks. Okay? So you have to figure out in your career when you are taking those risks. Okay? And you take smart risks, your career can pay off. If you take stupid risks, you will not when I take a smart risk at the time you are taking it. You only know later. You know, you guys have gone through management classes and we will all give you lectures about definition for management. Right? I also thought through all those definitions. But the most important definition the way I look at it is decision making and managing risk. That is what management is. And you are making decisions about your career and you are making decisions about the business where you are working. You are doing them both. And how smartly you take those risks will determine how far ahead you go. I was not a topper in my class. Okay? I was in the top 20% in the class. In IIM they have this scholarship. Or the top 20% of the class got waiver of tuition fee and some 300 rupees per month scholarship. I got that. But I was not the topper in the class. Okay. And if you look at various people and how their careers have gone in my class, 92 batch, I think the careers which are done well in the private take risks. They take risks on their careers, make good career moves, and for whom it is paid off. Many of you have dreams of becoming an entrepreneur. A lot of people want to do that right off business school. I didn't have the courage to be an entrepreneur. I didn't be an entrepreneur. I think what I have learned in my job as backing entrepreneurs, as an investor, I have backed entrepreneurs. I invested with Nana Kapoor when we founded Yes Bank. Nana Kapoor is the chairman and director of Yes Bank. He's an entrepreneur. And the most important qualification about the entrepreneur is their ability to speak well without knowing how their next months, and you have ability to quickly learn what needs to be learned. Okay? See, if you are going for a large bank, let's take ICICI. ICICI will have jobs across all departments. Okay? So they will teach you what that particular department is going to do where you join. Most likely they will rotate you across multiple departments as you move up in your career with them. Okay? So they don't particularly care whether you learn one particular subject in business school and they will say like, I have this vacancy and I want this guy to take and be selected, taken management or something and I have a pressing vacancy and I'm not taking that. That's not going to happen. Okay? So you choose what you want to learn. Okay? What gives you fun. You choose to learn that. Get your grounding right. Because I'm telling you, first 2 years you will be learning again in the job. Sorry.
Sir, what is the equity, sir, and the prospects for the jobs in the equity market and investment banking? What we are going to get prospects in that all in the market?
Look, Indian equity market is too small. Indian equity market has become much bigger. Okay? You have a 30-40 year career left. Okay? Now, it's been bad luck the year in which you are graduating, you have a bear market in equities. Okay? That's bad luck. But that doesn't mean that there will be no equity market job opportunity going forward. Okay? So if you like equity markets, if you are passionate about doing research and stock picking and being in a mutual fund or being in a research house, that's okay. Okay. So it will take a couple of years for you to get established. Okay. So I don't think you should try and say that I am going to learn private equity if there is a private equity elective for you because I am going to get a private equity job. You won't get it. Okay. I don't think people are going to hire you because you get a private equity elective or investment banking elective. It won't happen. They will only spend time talking about that. I was talking to you about my life. In the interview, they want to know about you, your goals, your ambitions. They will spend time on your personality and they will want to know that you have some basic skills. Okay, so don't worry about, don't make your choices based on what job you will get. Okay. Now, having said that, I need to caution you on one thing. Typically, you will find financial services jobs will pay much better than manufacturing jobs. Okay? And there's a very good reason for that. Because financial services jobs are volatile. Okay? So if you work for 2 years, you could also not be having a job for 6 months. That can happen in financial services. Manufacturing, unlikely to happen. Okay? So, in financial services, you earn a little more, you save a little more, and you should tide over this kind of crisis. Okay? So that's one thing you need to keep about financial services as a job. Okay? Though, as the economy becomes bigger, you will have volatility in all parts of the economy. But generally, this thumb rule applies. Financial services, the job is more volatile. Okay? Sometimes you lose the job for no fault of yours. Barclays will suddenly decide Asia is bad and they will shut down their Barclays unit here. You will be employed there. Okay? The previous day you will be spending time planning what you are going to do for the next 1 year. Then one day later the whole thing will change. Yeah, that kind of thing can happen in financial services. Unlikely to happen, the Mahindra are not to go anything. So that difference still exists. Right now, if you ask me, equity markets and investment banks are not going good. I know there are about 200 plus private equity professionals who have lost jobs and who haven't got a new job yet. Okay? I can think of perhaps a larger number in investment banks who have lost jobs and who haven't got a job yet. But investment banking business is much different. Private equity at its peak was 1100 professionals. Maybe it's down to 800, 900 now. Okay? But at peak, investment banking would have been 10,000 people. Okay? So the size of the market is much bigger when you talk about investment banking or even equity research. Compared to something like private. I talked about market back up big time in the last 10 days. The market is thinking that we would have a different government and we would have different economics next 18 months. And the market is right, then next year might be good. Definitely FY 16, 15, 16 looks promising. I think you guys will be passing out in FY 15, right?
Yeah.
So, April next year, probably a good time for job, new jobs. But I will pass out this year from a tougher time for jobs. That year we were very lucky. We got out at 92, 91 papers before we had. So, sorry.
So for getting those job in 15, you said right now. So what we have to face, the opportunities, what will be there, so that we can.
No, I'm saying financial services definitely FY, end of FY 15, beginning of FY 16 looks promising. I think people will be expanding at that time. Okay? So you might be able to get jobs in equity research, you might be able to get jobs in BPO companies supply equity research, you might be able to get jobs in investment banking. Okay? I think this year they probably give 10 odd bank licenses. Okay? So banks will be recruiting next year again. What will happen is ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank and all these guys will lose a bunch of people to the new bank. And then some guys will get promoted inside ICICI and HDFC. And then each year there will be entry level positions clearing inside banks because they tell you bank license of the people. So if you want to get into commercial banking, retail banking, there could be jobs.
These are the opportunities for the freshers or for the experienced persons?
Like I said, in banking, because people are going to get promoted, experienced guys are going to get promoted. Some people are going to move into new jobs. There will be entry level jobs, right? So I think yes, yes. Like I said, FY 15, and you guys are passing on, and FY years, probably a good time to pass on. Yes, sir.
What do you mean by capital market versus mutual fund?
What do you think by?
Capital versus mutual fund.
No, the capital market is a very broad definition for
Certain detail.
everything involving capital. For debt, equity, everything is capital market. Other than raising debt, other than raising equity, right? A mutual fund is a section of the capital market, which is a vehicle for pooling money from retail investors and providing them opportunities to acquire debt instruments or equity securities. Okay? So the mutual fund is a transmission vehicle. So mutual fund is owned by the unit holders. Mutual fund is managed by the mutual fund house. It's owned by the unit holders. Right? The capital market is stock exchange is part of the capital market. DMAT, NSDL is part of the capital market. Mutual funds are part of the capital market. To some extent, even banks are part of capital markets. Right? There are trading in treasuries, trading in debentures, there are debt exchanges, they are part of capital markets.